This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:15 p.m.) This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Virakon. Headlines. National Organisations Collective commends the President's decision to give money to farmers as fertiliser subsidy. 50,000 million rupees added to the rural economy. Armed forces conduct vaccination programs successfully at 15 places. Sri Lanka will get another 800,000 vaccine doses in the next few weeks. People condemn the trade union action of some health sector trade unions. Development process of the country will proceed under new normalcy. A program introduced to earn foreign exchange using inactive resources of the country. On news overseas, Malaysians in COVID lockdown fly white flags to ask for help. In sports news, Afro Swim Cap Olympic rejection could be considered after backlash. Local stories in detail. National Organisations Collective says they commend the strategic decision taken by the President to directly give cash to the farmers as fertiliser subsidy. The decision to ban use of chemical fertiliser is one such historic decision. The mind of the farmers should be shaped gradually for the success of organic fertiliser cultivations. Their economic situation should be improved along with that. If not, Chairman of the collective, Dr. Vasantha Bandara, said various political groups will use farmers for their political agendas. Importation of organic fertiliser should not be permitted. He said that businessmen should not be allowed to import chemical fertiliser as liquid fertiliser. Dr. Bandara said that the amount spent by the government for fertiliser subsidy earlier went to the businessmen who imported fertiliser. However, according to the new decision of the President, the farmers will directly get that money. Therefore, he said that 50,000 million rupees will be additionally added to the rural economy. He further said that an insurance cover should be introduced if farmers face difficulties due to the use of organic fertiliser. The three armed forces have contributed further to strengthen the COVID-19 prevention national program. The armed forces have taken steps to successfully implement the vaccination program without inconveniencing the public due to the trade union action of the health sector. Accordingly, COVID vaccines are being given at 15 places. The vaccination program is successfully taking place at the Narahenpita Army Hospital, Panagoda Bodhirukharamaya, Battaramulla Diyatha Uyana, Verahara First Medical Corps, Gaul Vidyaloka Vidyalaya, Mathara Mahinda Rajapaksha Vidyalaya, Diyatalava Defence Services Headquarters, Anuradhapura Army Hospital, Minneria Infantry Training School, Kilinochi Army Hospital, Pudukudirippu Tamil School, Navy Headquarters, Valisara Navy Camp, and at the Ratmalana Air Force Base. About 1,000 persons, including 300 from the Military Medical Corps, are taking part in the program. The vaccination program will commence again at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva says that the program can be continued if there are sufficient number of vaccines. Sri Lanka is scheduled to purchase 5 million vaccine doses using funds of the World Bank project for COVID-19 emergency response and preparing health systems. As the first part, the country received 20,000 Pfizer vaccine doses today. Another 800,000 doses will be received in the coming weeks. The World Bank Director for Maldives, Nepal and Sri Lanka, Faris Haddad Servos, said that the consignment of vaccines will be important to guarantee a secured, fair and productive vaccination on behalf of Sri Lankans. People have opposed the trade union action of some health sector trade unions. Health workers are working hard world over amid the pandemic. People have condemned staging strikes to achieve narrow political gains. They point out that war heroes have committed themselves to public service without any demands. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
Continuing with the local stories, State Finance Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral says that space will not be allowed for financial inefficiency despite challenges. The world is facing an economic depression due to the COVID pandemic. The State Minister pointed out that the main reason for the foreign reserves problem is the inappropriate foreign transactions during the time of the previous government. When the opposition proposes to transact with the International Monetary Fund, it shows that the opposition has no alternative but to take loans. However, the government has taken steps to provide long-term solutions to the prevailing temporary financial issue. The country has been directed to use renewable energy to save foreign exchange. Methodologies are being prepared to earn foreign exchange using inactive resources in the country. Steps have been taken to develop organic agriculture by producing organic fertilizer in the country. The country is facing a difficult situation due to the pandemic. The government aims to take forward the country's development process under a new normalcy. MP Sagar Karyavasam said that the country faced many difficulties due to the wrong management of the Good Governance government. He mentioned this during a media briefing today at the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna party office. Another discussion on the impact and damage due to the fire at Express Pearl Ship was held yesterday under the patronage of Justice Minister Ali Sabri at the Justice Ministry. Attention was paid on steps taken to get compensation, distribution of compensation payments, and assessing the damage caused to the economy, fisheries community, and the environment. Fisheries community will get priority when distributing compensation payments on the instructions of the President. Attention was also paid on removing material inside the containers that have been sunk in the sea. It was disclosed the report of the committee appointed to look into the damage caused to the economy will be released this week. The Committee on Parliamentary Affairs has decided to conduct Parliament meetings for 4 days from tomorrow. The committee met this morning at the Parliament complex under the patronage of Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena. Several draft bills, orders and salaries and allowances of the members of the Office for Missing Persons will be debated during that time. National Child Protection Authority has received nearly 4,000 complaints related to child abuse during the past 6 months from January. Chairman of the authority, Mr. Mudita Vidanapatirana, said they received information through 48,000 telephone calls during the past 6 months. The authority has received a total of 8,165 complaints during the last year. To end the local news, the headlines again. National Organizations Collective commends the President's decision to give money to farmers as fertilizer subsidy. 50,000 million rupees added to the rural economy. Armed forces conduct vaccination programs successfully at 15 places. Sri Lanka will get another 800,000 vaccine doses in the next few weeks. People condemn the trade union action of some health sector trade unions. Development process of the country will proceed under a new normalcy. A program introduced to earn foreign exchange using inactive resources of the country. That concludes the local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, the Ministry of Health reported that another 1,625 coronavirus patients have recovered and have been discharged from hospitals. This increases the country's total COVID-19 recoveries to 234,942. So far, 265,630 cases of coronavirus have been reported in the country, while 27,452 of them are still being treated for the virus. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, police say it is continuing to conduct quarantine operations across the country and that another 339 persons were arrested yesterday for violating quarantine laws, such as wearing face masks and maintaining social distancing. 47,579 suspects have been arrested for the offences since the 30th of October 2020. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to the world news, the headlines. Malaysians in COVID lockdown fly white flags to ask for help. Survivors pulled out from buried homes following Japan landslide. Taliban says all foreign troops must leave Afghanistan by deadline. Malaysians struggling amid a strict lockdown are flying white flags outside their homes as a plea for help. The White Flag campaign gained momentum on social media last week to help lower-income families signal distress. In response, neighbours, celebrities and businesses have offered help, providing food and other essentials. Malaysia has been under a nationwide lockdown since 1st June to rein a surge of COVID infections. Rescue teams battling heavy rain pulled survivors from their ruined homes on Sunday after a landslide struck the Japanese coastal city of Atami. Authorities said an elderly couple were among 23 people rescued so far. At least 3 people have been killed and dozens are still missing under a torrent of mud swept the city southwest of Tokyo on Saturday. According to the city mayor, some 80 people are still unaccounted for. The Taliban has told media any foreign troops left in Afghanistan after NATO's September withdrawal deadline will be at risk as occupiers. It comes amid reports that 1,000 mainly US troops could remain on the ground to protect diplomatic missions and Kabul's international airport. NATO's 20-year military mission in Afghanistan has all but ended, but violence in the country continues to rise, with the Taliban taking more territory. To end the world news, the headlines again. Malaysians in COVID lockdown fly white flags to ask for help. Survivors pulled out from buried homes following Japan landslide. Taliban says all foreign troops must leave Afghanistan by deadline. That ends the world news. We move on to the development news. Noting the importance of mainstreaming and contributing to the policy discourse on green development in Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Power and the United Nations Development Programme in Sri Lanka, together with interested stakeholders, will convene the Colombo Development Dialogue series on green development. This is convened following UNDP's Global Human Development Report, which was launched earlier this week, which argued that a great transformation is needed to survive in the next stage of human progress. And on sports news, it's cricket, Olympics and rugby. In cricket news, national player Banuka Rajapaksa has been handed a 1-year ban from all forms of cricket and fined $5,000 after an inquiry found the player has breached the obligations of Player Contract 2019-2020. In the meantime, a decision has been taken to draft Rajapaksa into the 13-member squad, currently undergoing training in Colombo under a bio-bubble focusing on future tours. He is expected to join the bio-bubble tomorrow. In Olympics, a decision not to allow swimming caps designed for afro hair at international competitions such as Tokyo 2020 could be reconsidered after backlash. Seoul Cap said FINA, the water sports world governing body, had told them the hats aren't suitable because they don't follow the natural form of the head. The comment sparked criticism from many swimmers, with some saying it would discourage black people from the sport. And on rugby news, Australian dual-code winger Israel Folau has returned to rugby union, joining Japanese top league side NTT Communications. The 32-year-old, a fundamentalist Christian, saw his contract with Rugby Australia terminated in 2019 after posting a homophobic tweet. Folau had been playing rugby league with Catalan Dragons but was released from his contract last month. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
A delegation from the Colombo Business Association, led by Mr. Aryasila Vikramanayaka, the president of the association, met the Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena recently to discuss how Sri Lanka's foreign missions could assist them to develop their exports during the prevailing pandemic. The need to reach out to overseas Sri Lankans was particularly stressed. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Tourism industry stakeholders have welcomed the decision made by the government to permit the industry to resume operations, a move that would allow the industry to stay afloat. The Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, One Industry, One Voice members and the City Restaurants Collective said they commend the efforts taken by the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga to initiate the necessary steps to gradually open the industry for business. That ends Economic News.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And finally on the Weather Report, the Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western, Sabragamur, northwestern and southern provinces and in the Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places. Showers or thundershowers may occur at several places elsewhere in the evening or at night. That ends the Weather Report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. National Organizations Collective commends the President's decision to give money to farmers as fertilizer subsidy. 50,000 million rupees added to the rural economy. Armed forces conduct vaccination programs successfully at 15 places. Sri Lanka will get another 800,000 vaccine doses in the next few weeks. People condemn the trade union action of some health sector trade unions. Development process of the country will proceed under new normalcy. A program introduced to earn foreign exchange using inactive resources of the country. In news overseas, Malaysians in COVID lockdown fly white flags to ask for help. And in sports, Afro swim cap Olympic rejection could be reconsidered after backlash. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.